Chicano and Mexican-American military members honored during a special ceremony yesterday in Scottsbluff. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, several hundred were on hand at the Guadalupe Center midday Thursday for ceremonies honoring not only retired and active Chicano and Mexican-American military members, but also several who died in the line of duty. Unveiled were 3 new monuments with the names of those from the area that have served. That's stationed in front of the center alongside the monument honoring those killed or missing in action. Dr. Marty Ramirez noted history has not been kind to the contributions of Chicano and Mexican-American military members.
It has not been in their social conscience, ignoring the sacrifice of the soldiers and the families. It has been left out of our history that encompasses many, many stories and memories that are being told by such events such as today. Today's ceremony will truly leave a legacy through the symbolism of the 4 monuments and sacrifices of our heroes.
6 quotes of valor were bestowed upon local veterans, and the Nebraska chapter of Honor and Remember presented flags to the families of 6 local men who died while on active duty. Local Boy Scouts also honored the family of Benny Trevino with a special statue for years of service to the organization and impact on youth in our area. Well, a federal court jury has been unable to agree on whether a former Panhandle Nebraska State Trooper violated a motorist's civil rights by hitting him in the head with the butt of a rifle. A federal judge declared a mistrial yesterday in Lindsay Bixby's case after the jury's forewoman said it had deadlocked following 2.5 days of deliberation. She reportedly said 10 jurors voted to find Bixby not guilty and 2 voted to find him guilty. Video recorded after a March 2016 high-speed chase in the Panhandle showed Bixby hitting a Colorado man in the head with the trooper's AR-15. We'll have more news right after this.
At Platte Valley Bank, you don't have to be like a tortoise and carry your home on your back. They have mortgage experts that can help you finance the home that's perfect for you. Whether you're a first-time home buyer looking for your next home or simply want to refinance the home you're in, the experienced lenders at Platte Valley Bank are there to help. Contact them at pvbank.com or call and visit with one of the mortgage experts to take advantage of great rates at Platte Valley Bank.
If you're like me, you're willing to travel for a good steak and a great dining experience. Bobby Joe's Branding Iron in downtown Bayard has just that. Some of the Panhandle's tastiest flat iron steaks, ribeyes, and even prime rib. Pair that with a Western dining experience in our quiet dining room or fun-filled main dining area, you and your family are sure to have a great night out on the town. So if you're looking for a great new restaurant to try, you just gotta head on over to Bobby Joe's Branding Iron in Bayard, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch and dinner. Welcome back. Local public health officials are encouraging vaccinations as we head towards the holidays. During Wednesday's weekly update, Scottsbluff County Health Director Paulette Schnell said people should be thinking forward about their family's holiday health, including the COVID vaccination now available for those in the 5 to 11-year-old range.
I just encourage people to think about now, if they haven't started their vaccinations, that they can now get them, and that's including the flu vaccine also, because we will see the flu season starting to happen. This is the time where we start seeing the cases, and we peak in that late December, January time frame. So we really want to encourage people to think about that. And the COVID vaccine, by getting started now, you can be fully immunized by the time that you're wanting to celebrate those holidays.
New positive COVID test results remained fairly consistent across the board in the Panhandle in the week ending November 8th, but More of the new cases were among the region's youth. According to Panhandle Unified Command, new cases hit 250, up slightly from the 244 for the week ending November 1st. Cases among those 18 and under rose to 82 from 28 during that same time period, while the number of hospitalizations rose by just 1 to 29 in the region. Well, a 20-year-old Sydney man was taken into custody late Wednesday evening following a pursuit through Gehring. Trey Ariano led officers on a chase in a white Chevy Impala down 10th Street towards Kimball Avenue before turning north onto Five Rocks Road. Stop strips were used to disable the vehicle, and Ariano was taken into custody. And Nebraska State Auditor Charlie Jansen says he won't seek re-election, and he endorsed his predecessor, Lieutenant Governor Mike Foley, who plans to run for his old office. Both Jansen and Foley have held their current job since 2015. Jansen says he plans to remain active in politics as a free agent and could run for office in the future, but he says he does not have any immediate plans to do so. Well, straight ahead, Bill Boyer in with your weekend weather forecast. Love that. Right after this on KNEB.TV.
What a year 2020 was. Now's the time to get out and travel this summer to see family and friends you were not able to see this last year. Spend more time enjoying your trip by flying United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with daily flights to and from Denver. Reserve your flight today and remember United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. And don't forget, Thrifty Car Rental is here for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and hitch a ride with your BFF, Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
Welcome to Kelley's, home of the Valley's best selection of wine, spirits, and beer. Whether you're brand loyal to the tried and true brew or really enjoy trying something different and new, Kelley's has something for everyone. Family owned and operated and right on your way on West 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Kelley's Liquor. If you can't find it at Kelley's, it's not worth drinking.
Logos in Gehring is the place to get all of your school spirit gear, personalized gifts, and promotional items for your business and employees and banners for any special event. Logos is also the only place to stop for custom screen printing or embroidery. You can even design it yourself on their interactive website. Stop into Logos today. They'll design it, print it, and have it to you in no time. There's no job too big or small for Logos. That's Logos in Gehring.
This is KNEB.TV weather from the KNEB Storm Center, your trusted source for weather.
We're going to be dealing with clear to partly cloudy skies across the area overnight. Clouds will be on the increase as we get towards sunrise tomorrow. Light winds finally tapering off this evening before they return again tomorrow. So it's still going to be breezy to windy at times, but warmer this weekend. Nice conditions coming Monday. In fact, very nice before things turn colder again by midweek. Yesterday, 47 after a morning low of 31. Nothing additional in the rain gauge, so we're still a few hundredths below normal for November and 2 3/4 below for the year. That's continuing to cause issues with our drought conditions. The only real changes here over the last week was an expansion of some of the severe drought conditions to include this area of northeastern Colorado. But otherwise, we remain entrenched in drought conditions here across most of the region, the most extreme drought right in the heart of the central portions of the Panhandle. Well, as we take a look at where we're at here temperature-wise, notice we're in this area where the last few days have felt kind of chilly. That's still, though, all pretty close to normal, a few degrees above or below normal for this time of year. After this incredible stretch of above normal temperatures a week ago. That's why things feel so shockingly cool, but really pretty close to normal for this time of year. 50s here in portions of the area. Most of us are going to be in the 40s and 30s out there. It looks like winds are out of the west at about 10 to 20 miles an hour, gusting at times over 20-25, and wind chills down into the 30s. As we look at the futurecast then for tonight, we're going to be dealing with partly cloudy skies early, clearing out overnight. We're going to see low temperatures overnight, going to fall down chilly into the 30s for the most part, upper 20s and low 30s out there. Now, as we get to tomorrow, we're going to see a few clouds to start the day. They will move on out, and we'll see partly cloudy skies then as we get through the afternoon hours. Notice a few rain showers along that frontal system coming through tomorrow, those will primarily be confined off to the north and east portions of the area. Clouds return again tomorrow night. Highs tomorrow mostly in the 60s, so it's going to be warmer, but boy, the winds are still going to be out there as well. Decreasing winds overnight, 31 for your low. Tomorrow it's going to be partly cloudy, breezy to windy again, at least 15 to 25, gusts higher than that at times, but warmer temps into the upper 60s. We'll drop some a little bit on Sunday, not be as breezy either, only about 60. Monday, breezy at times in the low 70s, Tuesday in the low 60s, and then we fall back into the 40s Wednesday and moderate a little bit towards the middle to end of next week as well.
Who is Hydrotex? Hydrotex manufactures and distributes over 300 different high-performance lubricants, including fuel conditioners, hydraulic and transmission fluid, and more. We've been helping customers improve their operations for more than 80 years with products made in the USA. We sell directly to customers and can even deliver right to your door to offer excellent service and value. Our products are made to exceedingly extend drain and grease intervals to reduce maintenance and labor costs to improve the budget. Whether you're in a factory, farm fleet, or like to go fast, Hydrotex is here to help. Visit your local Hydrotex dealer in person or online today.
Fox Butte General Hospital's mission is to lead and innovate in healthcare delivery and community wellness. This is important to us so our community knows the importance that we place on the efforts to keep our community and our surrounding areas well. We appreciate being here. The staff that we have at Fox Butte General Hospital is grateful to serve the community of Alliance, Nebraska.
The Evergreen Credit Card by FNBO. Earn unlimited 2% cash back on every purchase. Every day. Everywhere. Never worry about expiring points or category restrictions. Plus, there's no annual fee. Only from the Great Big Small Bank. A bank ever ready for you to earn more, wherever life leads. Evergreen by FNBO.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the FNBO Ag Desk. FNBO, the Great Big Small Bank.
Welcome to this week's Cattle Call. I'm Susan Littlefield. I am on the road. I'm at the U.S. Meat Export Federation meeting that's taking place here in California. So let's take a look at what we're seeing on this cattle market this week. And cattle has been a big discussion here at the conference, including what's been happening with the Grassley-Fisher bill. And then add to that the discussion about how cattle producers continue to be in that driver's seat. Well, Brad Koima joins us once again. And Brad, I think we need to start out with, you've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes on this Fisher-Grassley bill. Kind of what does this all mean for cattle producers?
Well, I guess I'd like to think that it should cause at least just a tiny bit of hopefulness, optimism. And the Iowa cattlemen have been engaged with this issue for, well, more than a couple of years. And we've tried to have a seat at every table that was available to talk about, the issues of increased negotiated trade, price transparency, as well as price discovery, and then even better, if we could get a little bit of price determination, or you can call it leverage if you prefer. I prefer the word leverage, I guess. But now, is this a perfect compromise, which is what this is? It's a compromise between Senator Grassley's bill and ultimately what it amounted to was the other Senator Fisher bill. Her dynamics, some of those were really good, we thought. The thing that we felt was lacking with her bill, of course, was she had such a low number in terms of the regional mandatory minimums to trade. So this new bill, of course, is nowhere near 50%, but it's much, much better than where we started with the compromise when the two parties, when Iowa and Nebraska, those two groups were talking back and forth politically to try to come up with something that was workable, that did have and actually, I really think this one has a really good chance of passing, is what they're telling us. So There's some cool things about this thing that nobody else is. Well, there are some things about this bill too that include some things that I think are a big deal because Iowa brought them to the table, and things like the cattle contract library, the thing like next day cattle weights. Why don't we get to know that? The packer knows every day he writes a check because it's based on what they weighed, right? And what you paid for them, that's the check. So why don't we get to know that on a timely basis like they do in the hog industry? They get to know it 24 hours, from when it's happening. So it's only an introduction of a bill. This is not. However, the hope would be that the timing is such that we time this with the LMR reauthorization in December, and that gets folded into that whole thing, and we hope to have a vote on it before the end of the year. Is it going to fix everything? No, but I think it's a big step in the right direction.
So what is something a cattle producer, when they look at this bill that's been introduced, there's a lot of fingers in it and a lot of different directions it's going. How do they decipher it? And I know that you guys have been working on it pretty hard through NCBA. And as our listeners and viewers know, you're a cattle producer as well. Yeah.
Well, I don't feel bad. I've been immersed in this issue for years, and it's not easy. First of all, it's not easy language because it's not the language you and I are used to. It's lawyerese, right? But I think that the key components on this thing is that it's going to create regional minimums. And if you want to know, okay, what is that, Brad? Well, if it's 18 months, which is the last 18 months, there's been a nice uptick, largely thanks because of negotiated grid trade, but okay. So you're going to have Texas, instead of like 2 years ago when they were limping along at 5.5% negotiated trade, this would take that number to closer to 12 or 13. Okay, it's not 50. It's a lot better than it was. It's more than double than it was. Kansas would have to negotiate about 22,000 every week, which is a far cry from where they were at 10, 11,000 here a couple of years ago. So, and it's something that's going to be automatically reviewable, or it needs to be reviewed every other year. So every 2 years they get to look back and say, okay, is this doing what it was supposed to do? Or is there been something that we didn't anticipate, unintended, that is doing that we don't want it to do? So that's a big deal. The 14-day report, or the need for the cattle to be slaughtered 14 days after bought, I think is very important. Anybody that's fed cattle the last little while has to relate to, geez, I got cattle sold and they're still here. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and I'm feeding them $7 corn, right? So that's a big component of it too. The other things that I mentioned earlier, I think are important, but knowing that what they're going to have to do every week is bigger than they've been doing before, and the 14-day component is something that Senator Grassley, I think, felt very strongly about, and I'm sure glad it's still part of the bill.
Something else that's been discussed a lot here at USMEF has been the recent cattle prices. And as I sat at a table this morning at breakfast with some cattle producers and some pork producers, they all came to the same consensus that it's nice that producers are in that driver's seat right now and are being able to say, nope, I'm not taking that. I'm passing for higher numbers.
Yes, and that's something that you and I started talking about. What do you think, Susan? 3 weeks ago, maybe?
4 weeks ago.
Yeah. Then, it was like more nuance, right? Though it feels like we dare to. I mean, we sat at 122, within $2 of 122 for 26 weeks. That's a half a year. It's goofy. You're going to tell me that the fundamentals didn't change in those 6 months? I mean, come on.
Right.
So finally, I know that we've talked about this, but I'm going to say it again. I think that there are some analysts that think that we have this big backlog of cattle. They've repeated this sentence now since August 9 of 2019. That's the anniversary date of the Holcomb fire. We backed cattle up then, and then we backed cattle up because of COVID. And, we've been so busy putting extra barbed wire in our fences because the cattle weigh 4,000 pounds now. I mean, come on. I'm of the opinion that I don't think we have cattle backed up at all. And it shows in the leverage finally where we decide, hey, you know what? We're not going to take 124 this week. Hey, we're not going to take 130 this week, which is what we did this week. Held out and got 132 for the most part. Packers got lots of margin. We needed to get some way to, twist their arm enough to say, you know what, we're going to ask for a little more. You got plenty to share with us. So it's a big deal. A lot easier to talk about for me in the cattle side of it than those poor hog guys where they hard to tell what that cash market is on a daily basis, right? And we don't want to go there. That's what we're fighting for in the cattle business.
All right. Well, next week, hopefully we're talking some higher prices and maybe a little bit more movement. Does that work for you?
I think we will.
All right. Sounds good. Brad Coyman has been joining us this week for Cattle Call. Just a reminder, commodity futures and options do involve a substantial risk of loss, and they're not suitable for all investors. And that's this week's Cattle Call from the U.S. Meat Export Federation's meeting in California. I'm Susan Littlefield on the Rural Radio Network.
The Evergreen Credit Card by FNBO. Earn unlimited 2% cash back on every purchase. Every day. Everywhere. Never worry about expiring points or category restrictions. Plus, there's no annual fee. Only from the Great Big Small Bank. A bank ever ready for you to earn more, wherever life leads. Evergreen by FNBO.
When it comes to helping local folks with the loans and financial advice they need, we don't horse around. Our only goal is to help you and your family achieve your financial goals with the right loans and savings products. So if you want to bank with people that care about you and your financial needs, stop by or give us a call. First State Bank. We're big on you. Member FDIC. Online at fsbcentral.com.
Well, let's take a peek at what's happening on your weekend community calendar. That's a look at today's community calendar, brought to you by First State Bank, honoring those who give back. Nominate your community champion at fsbcentral.com.
Find out what convenient really means at the Western Travel Terminal. Start with our great selection of food and drinks, from for real milkshakes and fresh brewed coffee to snacks and hot food. Next, check out our beer and spirits with their everyday low prices. Finally, let us work for you with our full-service gas station and automatic truck and car wash. All this can be found at 822 South Beltline in Scottsbluff. Western Travel Terminal, your convenient shopping, restaurant, and full-service gas leader.
Why bank at a local community bank? When you choose a local community bank, you keep money in our local economy. That money helps support local jobs, schools, and businesses. Money that helps fund a stronger and prosperous community for us all to enjoy and live in. At Platte Valley Bank, we are here to help build and support the community we love being a part of. We believe that together, we can make great things happen. Platte Valley Bank.
And finally tonight, the city of Scottsbluff has lost one of its parks. Technically. During the last Scottsbluff City Council meeting, Planning Administrator Zachary Globius told the council that for years, the Scottsbluff Senior Center has been listed as one of the city's designated parks. That changed following last month's Park Board meeting.
The Parks Board previously brought this to add the change the name of many parks to 18th Street Plaza, add Donor Plaza, and 23 Club Complex, and update the address of the pathway. And council elected to send it back to the Parks Board to remove the senior center. The Parks Board reviewed this at their October meeting and agreed with removing the senior center, so that's the only update.
The council ultimately voted to revise the ordinance updating parks within the city. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a safe, great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.